What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Universim. Likely the last one for Season 6 on Death Mode. The idea here was to colonize Andromeda, as I've been wanting to do for a while. There is no way of getting the planet cracker due to a bug with the Halloween world, which is unfortunate, but where we're at. So as you can see, the Cosmodrome is almost ready to go, and that is to launch a ship over to the moon. Mainly I want to have a look at the moon and see what it is like. Obviously the art for the moon when you're playing on the Halloween world is an angry face, and I want to see if the moon is any different or not. That's the only reason. Also might chuck in a additional spaceport just so that we have better transport for the colonists moving from the original planet to Andromeda. So as we move forward, you can see for the home planet that we are basically just going to leave behind as best we can, and to do so I need to move every single nugget to Andromeda. Now with this planet as it is falling on its arse a little bit, expected, because I'm kind of neglecting it because I'm expecting to move everybody on. There are a lot of the machines or industry buildings that you just saw there that I am ripping down, specifically because they of course have run out of resources. There are resources on the other planet, on Andromeda, and that is what we're already collecting, so nothing too taxing there. Anything on this planet that we can take over I will, but the spaceport process is a little slow. We have two at the minute, one on our home planet and one on Andromeda. That allows us to transfer 80 kilos at any one time. And there we go, the ship is ready, or the shuttle, whatever you want to call it. It is ready, so off it goes. Far out view for a change here. That planet is really small. When you compare that to my other series, you can see how small this planet actually is. Though we did get to the space age, we have nuclear power, we got a population of around 700-800 in total. So we achieved it, even tried to make it as difficult as possible. It still really wasn't that difficult, in my opinion anyway. The planet cracker was painful, but not difficult, because it just took time, and it was so slow at advancing, it really didn't do that much damage to my civilization. Okay, so landing on the moon, it just looks normal, right? If anybody can see any differences to the moon, let me know. But yeah, for me, it just looks like the normal moon that we've colonized many, many times. Well, about 8 for me, I think, in total, or 5, 6 on YouTube. Anyway, so same basic process here. Infrastructure in place, water, a reservoir so they can get said water, engineers hut so that nothing falls down, and then warehouse and a few other bits and bobs as we need it. For the moon, I'm not really interested in getting anything. I'm starting the Nuggetoid factories there, or the unobtainium factories there, but I do cancel that because we're not going to go into the Nuggetoids. There's no need. It's not part of the series that was the plan. Going to go straight in with the spaceport, specifically so that I've got an idea of what resources I'm lacking to get that done. We do have a few spare resources, and they are for the I can't remember what it's called, 𝐂𝐍𝐿. So the machine that turns fuel into water to put water on the planet or the moon. I never used them because I just used the trickle spell, the rain spell. Now I made a mistake here. I was trying to be clever, and I don't know if you saw me do it at the beginning, but I set the limit to the first tier of buildings. So as you can see, all of these buildings need planks and bricks because I set it so. Now that means that actually they're not going to be able to build half of them buildings because the resources that I send are space level buildings and we don't have them. The advantage to it is that planks, bricks and the raw iron, you can transfer quite a lot through the process of the spaceport. Also logs are required and some stone, easy peasy. The stone is about, they can get it themselves, and trees, as you can see, I can throw some of those down immediately to get them, chopping them down to do so. So the moon should be reasonably good. We're not going to go any further than that, so I'm not building the observatory for that reason. It doesn't really give us anything. I mean, we can search for stuff, but we're not traveling there anyway. And the satellites that you get, where you get free resources, honestly, you're talking 10 to 30 resources a time. It's not groundbreaking. I don't think it's worth going down that road either. Slowly but surely they are building up with the items that we do have. Of course, there is a lot missing just because of the way I started it. The unobtainium factories there you saw I ripped down. Any resources then that went in there. There was a few. Not enough to build both of them. There was enough to build one, I think. But then resources now will go straight back. There you can see, bringing over 200 food, 100 bricks, and 100 planks. As soon as they are delivered, I will then go for as many raw iron as I can. That should get about 75% of the buildings built easy. I have changed the era, though, so from now on they will need the standard, which is steel, plastic, glass, cement, etc.
Creator, I have some troubling news. Your workers did absolutely nothing while you were gone. Shall I fetch the whip?
So back over at Andromeda, and you can see it's going quite well. A lot of trees about, just because that's what I like to do with these settlements. Once I've got an established thing, have the trees about, and it keeps the planet healthy. Also, the planet was lacking trees. I think it was about I don't know, sort of 75% of the required population of trees when we arrived. So it's about 95% now. The water's good anyway. So we are good here. We are losing some resources coming out, but that's fine. This planet is rather large, and there's plenty of other places to go. Though it's very unlikely we are going to need it. Because we're not going into 5 or 6 planets like the series before, where we're colonizing multiple planets. We are only colonizing this just to show that we can. It's nice to have as well, and this obviously is a planet that is the dinosaur level, so there are your Triceratops and Brachiosaurus, Brontosaurus, whatever you want to call them, are on this planet, so it's just nice to do. And I did say every time I destroyed it, to be honest, because this used to be, if I'm not mistaken, actually, I think this is the first planet I've always destroyed on a series, so it's nice to colonize it for a change and give it a break. Some issues with that is the black market coming down. Of course, the whole process happens every time you colonize a new planet or moon, and it will continue to do so every time you colonize. But you can see here, this is a very busy part of the path. A lot of people are dying on here, though, and there's no way of me getting a cemetery anywhere near it. That's a lot of stone. Wow. Anyway, so you can see that's very busy, and what I would say is that is a perfect place for a bridge. So, a bridge I build. And there we go, getting close now, finished that off. Not too many resources required because it is a reasonably small bridge, but you'll see as soon as that is completed, they will switch to using it. It is as advantageous because the nuggets themselves obviously are faster on the roads, but also if they get vehicles, which we're not doing, so in this instance it doesn't matter, but for you in the future, they can use vehicles on the bridge. So where you can see them all crossing the bridge now, they would be using vehicles if you gave them to them, and they would be twice as fast. Around that border where they was walking, they wouldn't be able to use the vehicles, and they would gain no speed benefit whatsoever. So although this bridge isn't doing a massive improvement for me, it's made the journey slightly shorter, and they're slightly faster. Obviously, if they had the vehicles, they would be much faster. But it just had to be done. So as we have a look at people crossing the bridge, quite busy, and I'd imagine it's going to stay like that because it seems to be the main artery between them two sides. Interestingly, though, as this is coming to an end now, I would like to hear your thoughts on what, if anything, we can do next. Season 7 is going to be not delayed, but for now I think that enough's been done and ideas have been thought out. I can't think of anything else currently that we can do that's not already like a repetitive version of what's already been done. There's no patches that I can see in the future and no mods that change anything, and the views are showing that the less and less people are watching for each series. So let me know your thoughts, any ideas or plans, or if you know something that I don't in terms of modding, let me know. I would like to try something specifically, not so much harder. I mean, I would like it a lot harder, of course, but on the basis that the enemies are more difficult and the invasions are more difficult. The city management part difficulty, it's, I mean, I'm sure we've all played many of these before. It's very hard to make it difficult. A playthrough where they're not allowed to eat the raw food would be fun, but there's no way of doing that, because as you can see, this whole planet doesn't have any prepared food. I have no eateries. They are just surviving on the raw food, which they're fine with, but it's not as efficient, and that's the key, right? But it doesn't matter, and that's where maybe in the future they can make it that you have a level where a trait of a nugget is that they'll only eat prepared food or something like that. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts anyway. I've tried to milk as much as I can from what the game has to offer, but there really aren't that many settings to change, and we've kind of gone both ways with it. So back over to the moon, the spaceport has been completed. This is a lot of just logistics. So what's being built, what's missing, what's required, get the spaceports to bring that in. I only came here for the visuals to see if it was any different. That's it. There's no other reason. I'm building the spaceport just because I can, and it speeds up the process for Andromeda getting the actual duplicates moved over. And they're not duplicates, they're nuggets. Wrong game, my bad. Anyway, as it stands, we can see we are chucking down some batteries to make sure that power wise we're safe.
Place. Just don't look behind you.
And again, back over and at Andromeda, we are 718 strong. Now remember, probably 650 to 680 of those have been transported. They're not bred here. They're not Andromedians or whatever you would call them. They are from the home planet, and they have moved here by being transported. There are some babies, so there are some relationship happening, but as it stands, we are still migrating everybody over. And this is it. With everybody moved over that can be moved over, the moon cleared out and the home planet cleared out as best I can. There are about 140 or so remaining. It's bugging like crap though, and will not allow me to move them. If I try to, it just locks up. So I am going to call it done at this stage. And I think we need to do something special for the home planet, right? So just coming in now on that spaceship that's about to land at this spaceport is a singular nugget. The last remaining nugget to arrive from the moon, that one is. And with that, we're around 1,300 people on this home planet. We successfully survived the worst planet possible with the worst resources. We got all of the nuggets over to Andromeda as we originally planned. Now, let's jump over to the home planet and see what we can do to end this with a bit of style. And here we are again, the 148, 149, whatever it's showing. They are bugged out. There's about 3 or 4 nuggets there. I can't seem to get them to go anywhere, so we're going to call it that this is effectively over. Now, we could only do 3 meteor showers because I only had 1,000 points, and that only allows me to do 3. So what else can we do? And then I had a brainwave. What happens to a nuclear power plant when you turn off the water? They get hot. They get very hot. And eventually they explode and wipe everything out. we are going to end the episode here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this season. If you like the video, please click like. Any comments are welcome. As always, join us on Discord. If you've got any ideas for Season 7, then do let me know, though I am likely to hold off for a little bit while I play other games. The save game for this will be on the Discord, as always. However, it will be saved after what's about to happen. So do what you will with that. Remember, though, Andromeda is safe. It's getting close now, so I would like to say once again, thank you very much for watching. Take care. Goodbye.